What's going on, everybody? It's your host, Wayne's World, and we back with episode 4 and my thoughts on family readiness. Now, my thoughts about that is what happens if a man is not ready to have a kid, start a family, basically? And what if a female is not ready to start a family? What happens then? If women get into a relationship with a man and the man says he's not ready for a family, and let's just say a year goes by, you ask again and he says he's not ready, a second year goes by, same thing, then a fifth year goes by, same thing. Now, what happens if they get pregnant and he doesn't want to be a father? Do you get an abortion because of that? Do you keep it in hopes that he changes his mind? But what if he doesn't change his mind and he decides to leave? Now, do you take the chance to want to continue on to be a single parent? Or do you get an abortion then? There's plenty of men, I'm pretty sure, who are not, let's just say the ones who are not ready to have a kid. Is it something else that they're chasing? Maybe it's something that they're not. Maybe they're just really not ready. But how long does it take before a man becomes ready? Like, what does it take for him to tell himself that he's ready? I think most men, maybe they're not financially together within themselves to tell themselves that they can have a kid now, that they can support a kid. Maybe someone's just still too young to have kids. Maybe some just don't want kids at all and just looking for what some people might think freedom of responsibility. Let's flip the script. Now, what if a female is, let's just say, career oriented first and she doesn't want to have a kid yet? And a man asks her in year one, she doesn't want to have one. Year three, year four, and so forth. What does he do? If he loves her, does he still leave her because of the fact that she does not want to have a kid in the time that he's ready for it? Or does he accept the fact that he may never have kids because she's so career oriented that she doesn't want to stop her career to have a baby? I'm kind of not really understanding the why get into a relationship with someone where people say you shouldn't ask this in the beginning, but I feel like in the beginning of a relationship you should ask somebody, do they want to have kids? If they say they don't, then nobody's really wasting their time building a relationship for it to break down because someone doesn't want to have a full family. And if someone says they do want to have kids, then y'all go full forth with the relationship and hopefully you guys fall in love with each other enough to get married and have kids. Or have kids and get married, however way the cookie crumbles. But I want to give a scenario about not being ready. Let's just say it from the man's point of view. If he's not ready to be a father and you get pregnant and he leaves because he's not ready to be a father yet, when he decides to tell himself that he is ready, do you allow him to come back into the child's life? Or do you continue to make him pay for not being there in the beginning? What I mean by make him pay is meaning that since he wasn't in the child's life this long, you would like to keep it that way because the child has grown not to know of him. Who really gets hurt in that situation? Is it the father who can't see his child or the child who needs to have their other parent there? My thing would be to, whenever he's ready, let him decide to want to show his face. That doesn't shouldn't stop women from being mothers to their kids. You should do all you got to do for them and keep going ham and going hard as you've been doing. At the end of the day, they're going to be the ones that's going to have to tell their child why they weren't there and what they couldn't do. And it's up to their child to say, okay, well, I'm going to give you this second chance. I'll let anybody thoughts on that. Please feel free, comment down below and let me know how you feel about that. It's an open discussion. And I would like to speak on the women's side of it. If a guy's giving you hints that he doesn't want to have a baby, he's not ready for that kind of a family thing, but you love him so much, and you don't want him to leave or go anywhere, and let's just say he's your perfect type, despite the wanting a family situation, and if you force a baby upon him, if he leaves, do you blame yourself? Is that your fault? Or do you continue to shift blame towards him, knowing that he has given you reasons and have told you that he did not want to have a family as of yet? I'd like to get your thoughts on that too, ladies. Feel free to comment, subscribe, follow. It's an open discussion. Just want to get thoughts. Nothing's factual here. And I'd like to say this, because there are plenty of men who can have kids whenever they want. It's just they're doing it, they're choosing of when they want it. Women are usually on a clock when it comes to having kids, because if I'm correct, usually after the age of 34, there can be some complications when it comes to pregnancy. Now, don't get me wrong, I've seen plenty of women that I've seen in the papers. I even know maybe a few who has had kids at a very late stage. I mean, 40 plus years before they had their first one. I'm not sure if it gets harder that way because of the age. What I mean by that, I mean as in raising the child at that age. Being 40 plus and then you're dealing with a newborn, compared to when you're in your 20s dealing with a newborn, or maybe your early 30s. I would like to leave this on a note of saying sometimes you have to catch a potential red flag in the beginning of dating someone. Don't really want to wait until you're in mid-relationship, 2-3 years down the line, and you're ready to tell yourself you love this person, you're ready to have a family, just to be surprised to find out that the spouse is not ready for one. I think a lot of time can be saved and not wasted if we just asked some questions in the beginning of a relationship, or dating stage, should I say. Especially when it comes to having a family, because there are a lot of broken homes due to the fact that a lot of people are having kids with people who don't want to have a family at the moment, or at least at all. And that kind of goes for mothers and fathers. There's some mothers who ain't ready to be mothers yet, and there are a lot of single fathers out here trying to hold it down. Just like there's plenty of mothers out here that's doing it on their own because the fathers couldn't handle it and didn't want to be around. So all I can say is let a mother or a father who hasn't been around, allow them to come back into the child's life and let them make it up to the child, because at the end of the day, the child will be the one that's going to be hurt by this. And the fact that they can possibly resent you if they know that you are the reason why the other spouse couldn't attempt to come back into their life at all. especially when they're younger, because when they get older, it's kind of hard for the significant other parent, I should say, to come in and explain why they couldn't do this, why they couldn't do that. The child is wondering what did they do wrong, and they absolutely haven't done nothing wrong. It was basically a miscommunication between the two parents when they first began to date. Well, that's my thoughts for the day. Hope you enjoyed it. If you have anything you want to say regarding that, feel free to comment, subscribe, like, follow. You can DM at talk_galore. That's talk_galore on Instagram. That's items galore on Facebook. You can message us there, or you can email at galoretalk@gmail.com. I would like to thank my Galorians who have subscribed or who do listen to this channel. And I'd like to thank my future Galorians who will soon subscribe to this channel and follow us. And I hope you guys enjoy your night. Be ready for episode 5. And I'll let you know my thoughts on what topic is coming up. Enjoy.